Welcome in, belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman fantasy football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you, who may be watching or listening to today's show. And it is my great pleasure to welcome into the show, as always, Mr. B, a.k.a. Team B.
Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
How are you doing today, Bernie?
I'm doing well, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, this is episode 94, a week to preview, and we've got a full slate today. We are going to go over the weekend's primetime games, check in on the player news and practice reports, check in on the activity of our very first run of the Waiver Wire for the 2024 Wingman Fantasy Football League season. We're going to go over this week's matchups, see who's on top of the newest power rankings. We also have our starts of the week, and we will have our very first installment of a fourth and long with Bernie. Sorry. And we'll also see who's heating up. Oh, do I have that one ready to go?
He's heating up.
Yes, got it. First try. Who's heating up in the Wingman Jam? And of course, we will dive into the mailbag. So first off, let's get into some news and notes. Once again, we have a full slate of games on the docket as there are no teams on bye just yet. And we have a normal NFL schedule with games on Sunday and, of course, starting off the week on Thursday with a Sunday night game and a Saturday night game. No Fridays, no Wednesdays, no double Mondays. We are playing it straight. So let's see the schedule for this week's primetime games. On Thursday night, we kicked the week off with the Buffalo Bills stampeding their way down to South Florida to take on division rival Miami Dolphins at 8:15 p.m. The Sunday night game is the Chicago Bears. Defense only is going to show up in this one, heading down to the Houston to take on the Texans, and that's at 8:20 p.m. on Sunday. And on Monday night, we have a battle of the birds as the Atlanta Falcons will take on the Eagles in Philadelphia, and we had a whopping 9 players in our managers' lineups on the Thursday night game.
Wow.
Starting with they took our jobs, had Josh Allen and the Bills and the Miami defense going, while Cubert's Rage had Jalen Waddle and James Cook. Whew, spoiler alert, James Cook. Also, we had the Fantastics, had his triumvirate of Dolphins in his lineup with Tyreek Hill, Devon the Man Achane, and kicker Jason Sanders. We also had Waddle away.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled.
Sorry, Alex.
Waddle away had Tua Tagovailoa in his lineup, battling against Ben's brilliant team, who is starting the rookie from the Bills, Keon Coleman, fresh off of the show where we said he could be cut. He not only did he not cut him, he put him right into his starting lineup. All right, now we actually, before I do that, is there any comments you want to make on the Thursday night matches? We had a lot of players in these lineups tonight, and you're going against a couple of them.
Yeah, I am.
Or three of them.
I'm rooting for them to win, but not do that great on the stat line. So it looks like Achan did play, and he's doing okay. So if he just tempers it down, I'll be okay. So I'm not too worried about it though. I've got some studs coming on this week. I got Justin Fields in my lineup.
Oh, you did put him? Oh, we'll talk about that a little later. Oh, interesting. When we get to the matchups, you can tell us a little more about that.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into some player news. Well, another whack'ems. All right, in player news and practice reports, Puka Nacua has officially been placed on the IR, and reports indicate that he may miss more than the 4 games that he is required to miss. So keep an eye on that. They do have a bye week in week 6, which means he's going to miss week 2, 3, 4, and 5. They'll also have week 6 off. So hopefully he can get back by week 7, but it is not a guarantee at this point. Christian McCaffrey has been practicing in a limited capacity all week and is listed as questionable. Keep an eye on that one. And at the moment, Yahoo has both McCaffrey and Jordan Mason projected to get some points this week. So no one is sure if he's going to play or not. David Njoku has been ruled out with an ankle sprain and may miss a couple of weeks, but he has not been placed on the IR, at least not as of yet. Jordan Love has not been officially ruled out, but all indications are that Malik Willis will get the start up against the Colts. Raheem Mostert was inactive for last night's game against the Bills, but he is not expected to be placed on the IR, so he may come back sooner than later. On the other hand, Devon the Man Achane was active for the Thursday night game, and he did get the start. All right, Bernie, Ken Walker has not been practicing all week.
Yes.
This leaves his Sunday availability in doubt. How worried are you that he's going to play or not?
I'm a bit worried because he's coming off a big game. So I will keep an eye on that. I will set my roster accordingly, leaving an open spot towards the flex position just in case.
Do you have a backup plan kind of ready to go, or are you still thinking about it?
I do have a backup plan ready to go. We'll get into that.
All right, that's good to know.
Yep.
On the other hand, Rome Odunze, another player from Team B, has also not practiced this week. He did go in for an MRI and it revealed that he had a MRI strain or sprain. Not MRI, sorry, MCL sprain.
MCL, yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. But they're not putting him on the IR. Of course, they have up until Sunday to make it, the most count. If they wait till after Sunday, then he's going to miss 5 weeks if they do it. But so they have till Saturday night, Sunday morning to make that move to have it the most efficient. There's no indication he's going to go on the IR, but there is an indication that he's going to miss probably this week and maybe the following. But we'll just have to keep an eye on him. Luckily, he's not one of your starters and definitely not going to be one of your backup plans.
No, definitely not.
T. Higgins is nursing a hamstring injury and has yet to practice this week and may miss another week, while the toxic fans of the Bengals are accusing him of faking the injury since he's on the franchise tag and not under long-term contract. And that's not a good way to, he's probably going to be gone anyway, but this is going to seal that deal if the fans get toxic while he's nursing an injury. Jordan Addison has been out of practice all week with a ankle sprain. He already had an ankle sprain in the preseason. I believe this is the other ankle. He is questionable heading into Sunday and may not get onto the field. Malik Neighbors popped up on the injury report on Thursday with a knee issue, but it is unclear the nature or severity. I'm going to say he's expecting a big workload and maybe getting a day off, and it's you got to put something down on paper. I'm not sure because none of the people up there know, and I would say the New York media would be pretty all over that one.
Yeah.
All right, Keenan Allen. Fat Keenan. No, I gotta stop doing that. That's not good.
No.
Keenan Allen. Sorry, Keenan Allen. I've heard it and it's catchy. All right, Keenan Allen has not been practicing this week with an injured foot. He did play through this same ailment last week. He did aggravate it a little bit, but he did play. His stats weren't good, but he was on the field a lot and running long routes on Sunday. So it seems like this is going to be a pain tolerance issue, a injury management situation. And being that he's a veteran, I don't expect him to practice much all season, or at least for the next couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But definitely check on that, as he may be unavailable for Sunday's game, and it is a night game. So if you're going to have a chance to play him, definitely have a backup plan from someone else in that Sunday night game or someone on the Monday night game. Any of those injuries catch your attention, or anything you want to add?
No, that's pretty thorough, and just kind of focus on my players at the moment. So
block out all the noise and focus on come on, Walker.
Exactly.
All right. So guys, we are going to get into our very first waiver wire ran this week. It went through on Wednesday morning, approximately 4 a.m, and we had 8 waiver claims this week, but only 2 NFL players received multiple bids. It's a little surprising. So our first and most expensive acquisition was Isaiah Likely, went to King George for $23, and there were no other bids for that player.
You paid too much.
There was also Brandon Cooks went to Mac Daddy 2 for $15. There was another bid, but it was only $0 from Amazing Spidey.
You paid too much.
And the next player off the board was Demarcus Robinson, and he went for $9 to Amazing Spidey. And once again, there were no other bids. Amazing Spidey bid against himself.
You paid too much.
All right.
Wow.
King George also acquired, she was trying to revamp her team here. She picked up Bucky Irving, one of the notes from Bernie last week, saying that he was one of his favorite running backs, and he went to King George for $6, outbidding Cubert's Rage by $1. Gabe Davis went to Ben's Brilliant Team for $3. You know what? I didn't write it down, but I'm not positive, but I thought I saw Tank Bigsby go for $15. Is there a way you can double check that for me as I continue on?
I can, yes.
All right. Our next one here is Chris Boswell went to Red Sox Nation for $2. The Indianapolis defense, a strong streaming defense going up against Malik Willis, who's due for at least 2 turnovers, also went to Red Sox Nation for $2. So he turned over his special teams unit. And Blake Groupie of the Saints went to Lionize for $0.
All right. So we're checking on Mr. Tank Bigsby.
Yes.
No, I don't see him on here for any money.
So maybe he got picked up later in the day and didn't have I saw his name. I thought I saw, but maybe I was confused.
Yeah. Let's see.
Did he get picked up by?
He did. So who is it here? Ben's brilliant team picked up Tank and dropped Chuba Hubbard. So did you say Gabe Davis? Gabe Davis.
I did say Gabe Davis for $3. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. That was
okay.
it.
All right, guys. So that's the end of our waiver wire. I was surprised that the people that we were talking about did go for prices that you would expect, but there was no competition. These guys could have been gotten for a lot less. Actually, almost all of them. All of them could have been gotten for free. The only one who had two actual dollar bids was Bucky Irving, as the second bid was $1. All right, on to this.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
I just got a little something to add there.
Okay.
So you remember I said I wasn't going to put any bids in, and I had...
Oh, right. I wanted to bring that up, right.
Yeah, I had all the quarterbacks available the next morning. So I was able to snag
thinking that earlier, and I forgot to bring it up. Yep. So your plan worked. You had the pick of the litter, and you didn't have to pay any money.
Exactly. So
well played, sir. Well played.
Yep.
All right. Now it is time to see who's playing who in this week's matchups.
I want you! I want nostalgia! Ready, down! Put!
This week's matchup.
All right, we are going to start off the docket here as the 0-1 Amazing Spidey is playing against the amazing team here of Alex's Day Took Our Jobs, who started off the season at 1-0 with a very narrow victory last week over Team B. And he's got Alex's Day Took Our Jobs has two players going on this Thursday night game, which is going to set his weekend up, as he has the top scoring player from last week, Josh Allen, in his lineup, as well as the Miami defense. Is there any other... We have Patrick Mahomes is on Amazing Spidey, who got picked before Josh Allen. So we're going to see for the second week if this was the wrong pick for Amazing Spidey. What else do you have on this matchup, Bernie?
So I've got DK still in there against New England, and I don't think DK is going to have a big game. I think he needs to run with Reed. Reed's coming off a big game, and I think. Oh wait, no, Jordan
Malik
Love
Willis
is out. Yeah. So that's no, never mind. Keep DK in there. But playing Josh Allen, playing Miami, might not be the gold it was last week. Just because Buffalo's defense is doing all the scoring.
Oh, wow. I'll have to look at that a little later. That sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right. Our next game on the docket here is Jimerson's Red Sox Nation, our four-time champion, but 3 times in a row. It's starting off the season 0-1. I'm so sorry for you. And up against Andrew's Crazy Fish, who also started 0-1, and he needs to rebound from the lowest score of the league last week, and he had so many duds from his early picks. He's bound to rebound. What else do you have in this matchup?
I think this might be a big bounce back for Crazy Fish, because St. Brown was on the dud list last week, I believe, and he is due up for a big game. So I think this is going to be a bounce back. I think Red Sox might have some competition in line here.
I kind of agree with you there. I think I almost had Amon-Ra St. Brown as my start of the week, but we're going to see who that actually is. So he has a chance, but he has the thing that he's got a big projection already. Amon-Ra St. Brown does. He's projected for 15.5 points, so that kind of threw me off there. I was like, I thought he's going to have a big game, but he's already projected for it. So it's not like it's not extra points; it's points he has to get.
Yeah, he had a couple of duds on his team last week, and I think that between St. Brown, Harrison Jr., and Brandon Ayuk, he can't get 3 more duds out of those guys. So he's going to definitely get a bump in his score.
Let's see if Brandon Ayuk can do it as opposed to Brandon Ayuk. So we'll find out. All right, our next matchup on the docket here is Corey's Mac Daddy 2 to start out 1-0 is up against the ravaged Katie's King George, who started off the season at 0-1. Let's see what take do you have on this game here, Bernie?
So I think Matt Stafford on King George is going to be a good play. My only concern is that she's currently has McCaffrey in her lineup, and we just don't know what's really going on there. But Mac Daddy 2 did not make a quarterback change. He's going to run with the rookie Caleb again.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those things where I think McCaffrey and Caleb Williams might cancel each other out. And then, because if McCaffrey plays, he might have limited touches just because Jordan Mason was doing so well. I don't see them stopping that.
Well, the good thing for King George, as at a glance, that if McCaffrey plays, I'm sure this will change, but his projection was like 11.5 or 12.5 points, give or take, low for him.
Yeah.
So even if he does split time, but if he's on the field, he should be able to get that relatively easy.
Yeah, I think so. So I think she's going to be in much better shape than she was last week either way.
Do you see an obvious pivot for her this time instead of having to pick up a Braylon Allen, for example, if McCaffrey is out?
Well, she does have likely she could bump up Brian Robertson Jr. into her running back spot and put Isaiah Likely in. I don't see him slowing down. So
the good thing is, I believe, I need to double check. I'm pretty sure that the San Francisco Minnesota game is at 1:00. So even if she doesn't have her in her flex, which is kind of irrelevant because that's the first game of the day.
yeah,
So she'll know right away. She won't have to worry about that. That minutia of trying to be the most flexible. She'll know if he's in or out, and she can make that switch right at 1:00
exactly.
or before 1:00.
Right.
All right. Our next game here is Paul's Cubert Rage, off a huge game of over 140 points, is up against Reggie's Lionize, the sad line, who starts off 0-1. And before you get into this game, Bernie, there's one stat I want to bring up here.
Yep.
I didn't double check the look up here, but last year Reggie started off 0-5.
Right.
I believe the year before he started off at least 0-4, might have been 0-6. And this year he's starting off 0-1. So he needs to get a win so he doesn't have a third straight year of starting on a slide. Last year he almost made the playoffs as he had a 6-game winning streak after the 5-game losing streak. But he does not like starts of seasons, and he needs to turn this around quickly. He needs to turn this around, or he is gonna go mad and pull out the hair from his mane. What else do you have on this game?
So this one is interesting because Paul has got a big game going so far. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
He's got James Cook in, and James Cook's got a couple touchdowns, but he did have Buffalo's defense on the bench, and Buffalo's got to score.
Oh, he put him on the bench.
Yeah, he also has Dallas defense. So
Fair enough.
I think New Orleans might put up more of a fight than he thinks. Reggie's got a good team. He does need Garrett Wilson to show. I'm sorry, not Garrett Wilson. He needs Aaron to show up so his Garrett Wilson player can get some points. Outside of that, he's pretty stock. He's got Najee Harris and Lad McConkey. So,
all right, very good. All right, next on the docket is Nick's Waddle Away, who had the second highest score, over 125 points, if I'm not mistaken, up against Ben's Brilliant team, who's also 1-0. These guys are both division leaders, I think. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not sure. I think they're in the same division. They're in the same division, so they can't be division leaders. Never mind. They're both 1-0. They're in first place and second place in their division. Let's do that. Ben's Brilliant team, though, did have the second lowest score of the week last week and just had a great matchup in terms of who is going against. But the winner of this is going to come out 2-0 regardless. What do you have on Nick's Waddle Away versus Ben's Brilliant team?
So just at a quick glance here, it might be a really close matchup, I think. And they do have two superstar tight ends going at it. So
which tight ends are those?
Ben's Brilliant team has George Kittle, the guy that has the most fun in the NFL, I think.
Yes.
And Waddle Away has Sam Laporta, who is due up, I believe, because he only had 6.5 points last week.
Okay. Yes. So that's very good. This is going to be the tight ends might set the tone for this particular matchup.
Yep.
All right, on to our next matchup, and arguably our most important one. We have Bernie's Team B off a great week point-wise, bad week result-wise, is at 0-1. Excuse me.
I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
It's a little late on that. I apologize. Up against Ken's The Fantastics, who has 3 Dolphins going tonight. Also had a strong game, just under 100 points last week, and he is at 1-0. Another division. All these are division games, obviously. Bernie is going to need a win here just to even out this division and help me out as well. What do you have in this game? I know it's close to your heart.
It is close to my heart. So I have a tough matchup. Fantastics has got a good team. I do have a little preview going. So Tyreek Hill and Jason Sanders are in the red. They are hitting below projection as of now. I did switch out my quarterback, so I'm going to put Cousins on the bench to see what he can do in the game, and I am going to start Justin Fields.
Woo!
And if like you were saying earlier, Ken Walker...
Sorry about that.
That's okay. If Ken Walker can't go, I'm going to put in Pickens, and so I can have a Fields Pickens stack for this game. So I'm putting a lot of eggs in that Pittsburgh basket if Ken Walker can't go.
So I forgot to mention in the news, I didn't know how important it was. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily indicates whether or not Fields is going to play, as all speculation is that he will, but Russell Wilson has been practicing in a limited fashion all week. He hasn't missed any days of practice. But like you said, Tomlin is about winning over anything else. And if he thinks this guy can help him win, or he's not going to take him out if he's doing if he doesn't lose for them.
Right.
He's going to ride it out until the choice is kind of made for him.
I heard Tomlin speak, and he said he's going to get the reps with the first team. The game plan is going to be for him.
That's Fields you're speaking of?
Yep, for Fields. He's expecting him. They're preparing this week as if Fields is the starter. He also made the comment that he doesn't like to give attention to the people that aren't on the field. So if not to say that he's not paying attention to Russ,
right.
Like you said, Russ is practicing.
That's what the assistant coaches are for. He can't deal with that. He's got his own thing to worry about.
Exactly. He's game planning with Fields, and I think just because of that comment, that Fields will have a bump up compared to last week as far as production goes. It just sounds like that game plan was for Russ, and Fields slightly different skill set, very similar, but slightly different skill set. And then we can go from there.
So Fields has always been an inconsistent player, but he also has the potential, and he's done it multiple times a year. Huge days.
Yeah.
Who's the Steelers playing?
They're playing Denver.
Oh yeah. Is this going to be one of those? Oh my gosh, that is going to set you up one way or the other, because he's not like a 18-point guy. He's an 11-point guy or a 36-point guy.
Yeah. And then just on the flip side of that, Fantastics has CJ Stroud, but he is going up against that Chicago defense that really showed up last week. So it might not stop CJ, but it will temper it down just a bit.
All right, very good. Good stuff on that one. You had a lot on that one. Of course you would. It's your game. I love
That's
it.
my game, yes.
All right, now it's time to get into the power rankings.
I have the power!
By the power of Grayskull.
I'm living in it, no one man to have all that power.
Wingman Power Rankings.
All right, so I didn't write down last one so we can tell the change here, but there was a movement here. We're going to start. Should I start from the bottom or the top? I always start from the top. I'm going to start from the bottom.
Let's start from the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, the team with the lowest projected points for the remainder of the season. That's all the power rankings are. Yahoo will set your optimal lineup, like almost like they're doing the best ball for you by their projections. So it's not who you have in, it's who they think is going to score more via projections. And they just add that up for the total of remaining games. So Ben's brilliant team has fallen to the bottom of the projections going forward. So he is 12th in the power rankings. Crazy Fish has moved up to 11th, but these guys have been on the bottom all year long. It looks like they're going to stay there a little while longer. Team B fell from 9th to 10th. Like I said, that 9th position has a good score. You did have a good score. Unfortunately, you didn't get that result you wanted. I don't know if the 10th place team is just as good or not, but you are the 10th highest projected points going forward. Cubert's Rage, who was our highest scorer last week, seems like he's on his way to be the highest scorer this week, is in 9th. That is the magic spot. If Yahoo thinks you're the 9th best team, you're the best team. Yep. In 8th is Red Sox Nation. 7th is Waddle Away. Our 6th best team in the power rankings is They Took Our Jobs. 5th in the power rankings is the Fantastics, while Mac Daddy 2s is in 4th place for the power rankings. Now, to unveil our top 3 in the rest of the season power rankings, number 3 is Lion-Eyes, is projected to have the 3rd most points going forward. Amazing Spidey moves up from 4th to 2nd in his projections going forward, and in a surprise, really a surprise, especially with the McCaffrey going down this week in projections. King George is at the top of the power rankings, And that's a scary place to be, but it's still a good place to be as they think you have the most points coming in your future, and all we have is hope. So that's good for Katie's King George. She is the top of the power rankings.
Very nice.
All right, guys, we have another segment. These are, like I said, we're going to amend these and fix them as we go, and we're going to add things, correct things. I already have a correction for last time. That start bench cut was a little confusing, so we're going to fix that next time. But for this time, we have our starts of the week where we're going to pick the one from each position that we think you've got to play. We think these players are going to overperform their projections or along those or anything like that. So I am going to start off, or why don't you start off with your QB start of the week?
All right. Who do I have as my QB start of the week? I have it written down on the other piece of paper.
You want me to go?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Coming off a very strong game. Can you repeat it is the question. You say yes.
Yes. His week 1 performance against the Commanders was great to see. I'm a Baker fan. I didn't start as a Baker fan, but I ended up as a Baker fan. He completed 24 of 30 passes for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is a great stat line.
That's Brock Purdy numbers.
Yeah, shows his ability to lead the offense and distribute that ball efficiently. That showing suggests that the start of the season is good for Baker to just ride this wave. So I think that it's going to basically kind of he's just coming off of the end of last season and he's just continuing.
I was going to say this is the first time in a while that he's had a smooth transition from an offseason, either not changing teams or not coming off an injury. And it seems like that might be all he needed, which is a little continuity and a little health. Yeah,
and the thing about Baker is he's not a young kid anymore, wet behind the ears, fresh in, a lot of hype. He's an older statesman, but he's on a team that has even older veterans that are still good. Mike Evans is still a great player, future Hall of Famer that Baker kind of looks up to, but it's just magic, I think. So I'm all in on Baker.
All right. Well, I'm actually going to stay in that same exact game. I have Jared Goff. I know he had a rough go this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And it wasn't a dome, but he is facing the Tampa Bay Bucks. And this game is also in the dome, so he's got a second chance to dominate.
Yeah.
And the Bucks have a much better rush defense than pass defense. I didn't put it in the WDK this year. I wrote a little article, and it was kind of a practice thing. I didn't put it out there because there wasn't much need for it. But I did a little thing on what makes a hard team to run on. And one of the factors was if the team's defense has a great disparity between their pass defense ability versus their rush defense ability. And the Bucks were in the top 4 in being the most difficult matchup for running backs. And this is because of that disparity. Their defensive line, including Villa as their nose tackle, are run stuffers. And their secondary is not as good, especially with Carlton Davis being injured once again. So that just means teams are going to take the path of least resistance. If it's easier to pass and it's way harder to run, they're going to pass it. They might run just to kind of set the tone, but water's going to find the easiest way down the hill, So they're going to pass a lot more in this game, in my opinion. And the Lions have to keep, and not only that, but the Bucks have a strong offense, similar to what Bernie was saying about Baker Mayfield. So this game has a potential to be high scoring because both these teams have good defenses. Not great defenses. They both have very good offenses that we think can handle the defenses, especially in the passing game, as I was saying for the in terms of the Bucks defense. So I'm going to go back to the well. Jared Goff in the dome, his second day in the dome. He's ready. He's got like you said, the first games are like preseason games. They got it out of their system. They're going against the Bucks. This is a good matchup for passing, and I think that Jared Goff is going to be a start of the week.
Oh wow! Based on that speech, I might not put Pickens in, and I might put Jameson Williams in because I've got him on my bench at the moment. So if Walker doesn't play, I might get my Lions get going there.
It sounds like a good idea, but don't blame me for anything. All right, on to our next position.
That's why I watched this show.
Yeah, put him in. Actually, Pickens has a tough match. You have Pickens, he's going against Surtain and the Broncos. That is a very tough matchup for that. And you got a quarterback who's not adept at throwing, not awful.
Exactly.
But that's not his strength, and he's going against all right. That makes you have to think about it at least a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
All right, our next position for our starts of the week is the running backs that we're going to start for this week. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go?
I'll go first on this.
Okay,
again.
Please do.
So I've got Joe Mixon. I think Mixon received a league-leading 30 carries in 33 total backfield opportunities. So showcasing that his trust from his coaching staff, from his team's commitment to utilizing him as the primary workhorse, which he is. He averaged 5.3 yards per carry, caught 3 passes for 19 yards, and scored a touchdown. So he was kind of the engine of that Houston defense that kind of got them going. And once they were going, it is hard to stop them. So Joe Mixon, if he's not in your starting lineup, put him in.
So my first thought was they're going against that vaunted Chicago defense that you mentioned. But last week in that game, the best player for the Titans in that case was Tony Pollard. They stopped that. They stopped the pass, or Levis stopped the pass. I'm not sure who was more in charge of that. But the run was pretty successful. And you would say Mixon, at least what he showed now, and even in his pedigree, is better than Pollard. So you think he's going to get at least Pollard's numbers, if not more.
I think so. Yep. I think that's going to be their bread and butter for staying in this matchup.
All right. You can make fun of me here. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a hedge, but I'm just going to put this as the LA Chargers running backs. Only question is which one, or will it be both? I think it's going to be both, as the LA Chargers are taking on the Carolina Panthers, who just love giving up big stats to the running game. Shoot, Alvin Kamara, who doesn't even run anymore, just catches passes at 70 yards in the first quarter and a half on a handful of carries. And Taysom Hill had a bunch of runs as well. Carolina Panthers are a mess, especially on defense. Their best part of their defense is their pass defense, and that's not even that good. And like we said, and not only that, like we said, teams are going to take the path of least resistance, but especially when it lines up with what the team wants to do. The Chargers want to run the ball, and the Panthers are going to let them. So my thought here is that the Chargers want to run, and J.K. Dobbins will break 100 yards this week, and Gus Edwards will score at least a touchdown. Both these guys are going to break 10 points this week, and either one may get up to 18 or more. So I would say you can start both these guys, but definitely start your favorite one if you're kind of mixed up there. So with that being said, start your Chargers running backs.
All right, I got a question on that one for you.
Sure.
What if in my league I've got both of them?
If I got both, I'd put Dobbins ahead because the big play opportunities are there. Okay. I've got Gus Edwards, and so my team's weird, like similar to last year, although not the same quality. I am running back heavy. I've got 5 running backs, including Jeff Wilson, who I picked up for just in case. Of course, he didn't with Achane healthy. I definitely don't want to play Javonte, so I've got options. Now I've got Jordan Mason, who stepped up as a possible player, and I've got Gus Edwards as a start of the week type of player. So obviously Mason, you saw last week how good he was. So I'm kind of between Mason and Gus Edwards. It all depends on the McCaffrey thing. That's how I'm going to move it, I think.
Gotcha.
So Gus Edwards might not make my lineup, but that's because I've got a McCaffrey replacement, and that's it's pretty hard to jump that person.
Right, but if you had both of them on your team, you would start him over that.
I think I would take J.K. Dobbins because he's the hot runner here, and their defense is so bad there might be some long runs. But I also think Gus Edwards is going to get a couple short touchdowns in this game.
Yep, gotcha. All right,
so I think they're going to end up pretty close. One's for yards, one's for scores.
Yep. All right, I'm going to let you start with the wide receivers.
Okay. This one I have the rookie, your friendly neighborhood Malik Neighbors against the Commanders. Washington gives up the most fantasy points to wide receivers. It's only been one game, but they're pretty close to that mark also. Last year, we saw what Baker Mayfield did. Chris Godwin, is he back or is he playing the Commanders? We'll find out soon. But Malik Neighbors got their offense last week was awful. They went up against a very good defense, but Malik Neighbors got all of the yards. I think they only had like 110 passing yards and he had 70 of them, give or take. I don't have that written down, so I might be a little off, but he had at least 65% of the total yards, and they are going to pepper this guy if this is where the weaknesses are. The Commanders have a rookie cornerback in the backfield. Malik Neighbors, being the mostly more high-touted rookie, is going to dominate this game in targets and potentially big plays. Malik Neighbors is your start of the week.
Wow. That's all I got to say to that. From all of your talk about Daniel Jones and giving me a hard time about Daniel Jones, you just lit up Neighbors, and wow. Okay.
Well, I was debating on putting Daniel Jones in as the quarterback, but I thought that would just be too hypocritical, so I couldn't do it.
I like that. Okay. So I was on the fence with my wide receiver, and I was kind of in the same position as the McCaffrey thing, and I wanted to say Isaiah Likely.
Okay.
And it was kind of like, well, Mark Andrews wasn't on the injury report, so I was like, you know what, let me just leave that alone. So Cooper Kupp's my wide receiver,
coming off 21 targets.
Yes. So Cooper Kupp, it really comes down to Puka going down, and Matthew Stafford in needing to have a big game, just to feel good about himself and get this team on the right track. He was a top target and had a game that was reminiscent of why we drafted Cooper Kupp so high from years ago. So I think that's going to be the season now. I think he realizes he's got to step it up while Puka is down, so they don't, start off 0-4. So Cooper Kupp, put him in your lineup.
I feel like Stafford is like a dog just coming back from surgery with the cone on his head. He just targets. He doesn't stare people down, but he definitely gets a favorite, and he's like, that's where I'm going. If he's open, I'm not going to look anywhere else. If they're not open, he's a good enough quarterback to go somewhere else. But these guys are also, Cooper Kupp, for example, is also great at getting open. So the combination of a guy willing to throw to the same guy over and over again and a guy who can get open over and over again just means targets, and receptions for Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I think so. So Cooper Kupp, put him in.
All right, we've got a bonus start of the week. We've got a defense. This one comes from me here. All right. We have the Tennessee defense up against Aaron and the Jets.
Ooh.
And you said it earlier. I already had this down. This is actually going to change one of my Wingman Jam picks, I think. I've got one I might go back and forth on, so I'll see what I say when it actually comes to this. But anyway, the Titans have L'Jarius Sneed, one of the best lockdown corners in the league, and he's going up against Garrett Wilson, who seems to get easily frustrated. He's going to be shadowing him all day long. We saw how he didn't do that well last week with a more rounded defense from the San Francisco 49ers. Their best players are linebackers and edge rushers, but they also have a good secondary, and they play a really good scheme, and he was still getting bottled up except for one drive, really. And the defensive line, we saw how good they did against Caleb Williams, especially early, knocking down passes, getting in the backfield. They didn't get a lot of sacks, but they were causing a lot of pressure, and Williams can move way better than Aaron Rodgers. The line is going to swallow up the aged Aaron Rodgers for multiple sacks in this one. Going to be a fumble recovery, maybe for a touchdown. I'm not predicting a touchdown, but there's going to be multiple sacks. One's going to be a fumble. It's going to be an interception in this game, and maybe even hold the score down to under 10 points. Tennessee Titans are your defensive start of the week.
Wow. There you heard it here.
All right,
that
guys.
is a hot sports take.
All right, it is time to get into our first rendition of this season's 4th and Long with Bernie.
First down, the game's over. Go for it.
This measurement could determine the Giants'
It is
season.
time for 4th and Long.
With Bernie.
All right. Hello, my lovely, lovely listeners. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being part of our Wingman community. 4th and Long. Let's see. What should we dive into? I think we really need to lock in on something that is current, something that is relevant to us all, that affects us in our lives. So I want you to really think deep about this. We really need to analyze this presidential debate that just happened and really kind of feel out the goods and the bad. No, never mind.
They're eating the dogs. Sorry.
On the first installment of Fourth and Long, we're gonna lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna get into a little fun. We're gonna talk about my top 6 favorite football movies. All right. Everybody loves football movies, whether it's Remember the Titans, whether it's Rudy, whether it's something on my list. So it's going to be a little bit of a controversial list. So I want you to get into the comments. I want you to tell me which ones I missed, which ones I'm completely wrong on, which ones you agree with, and leave your top 6 or your favorite. And then remember that it's football. It's fun. Have fun with it. Don't stress out. All right. So starting off, this first movie, 1993, it's a college football drama. It kicks off the list here, and it dives into the intense whirl of university athletics, showing both the glory and the darker side of the sport. While it might not be a touchdown as far as movies go, it certainly moves the chains in terms of football movies, and that's The Program. And if you haven't seen The Program, I highly recommend you go see The Program. And if you have any high school kids, don't let them see The Program. Anybody that plays football in college, you worry about them after you see The Program. All right. Coming in at number 5, in 1999, there was a great Oliver Stone epic movie and a hard look at professional football with a star-studded cast of gritty realism. It offers behind-the-scenes glimpses of the NFL. It's intense, it's loud, and it's not afraid to tackle the big issues in pro sports, and that's Any Given Sunday. You got to love Any Given Sunday. The mockery of it all, the uniforms on this thing, the faux Texas Stadium. I mean, it's just a great movie, and it's Oliver Stone. You can't go wrong with that. All right, coming in at number 4, the year was 2000. This guy in this movie, he led the revolution against the machines that were using us as batteries. I'm talking about Mr. Keanu Reeves. He leads a team of misfits in this lightened comedy. It's an underdog story that doesn't take itself too seriously, like me, offering plenty of laughs alongside its football action. This one's more about heart than hardware. And that's The Replacements. Excellent movie. Number 4 on my list is The Replacements here. All right. Top 3. Here we go. 1998. Where were you in 1998? I was, I'm not going to tell you where I was in 1998. So this one is Mr. Adam Sandler brings his unique brand of comedy to the football field, and it's one of the most quotable movies that I've seen in a long time. It's silly. It's over the top. It's got great charm. And I love the way that they talk. So, and that's The Waterboy, H2O, not Gatorade, H2O. Waterboy is my number 3 pick. All right. I know there's a lot of good movies out there, but number 2, this one goes way back. Not too far back, though, because, 1991. This comedy about a college team of misfits, a lot of misfits in my movie choices here, is the ultimate underdog tale. All right. It's a good heart, humor, and just enough football to keep sports fans engaged. Scott Bakula leads a cast that knows how to score laughs, and Kathy Ireland's in it. This is, Necessary Roughness. Great football movie. All right. And number 1, 1994. Taking the top spot is this family-friendly football flick. It's a classic David versus Goliath story, pitting a team of lovable misfits against the town's elite squad. With plenty of heart and humor, it proves that in movies, as in football, size isn't everything. Yes, you guessed it. The Little Giants, my favorite football movie. Now, I know there's some that were left off this list. Some might say it's a really bad list, and those are horrible movies. And you know what? It's not the best movies of all time. They're my favorite movies. So let me know what your favorite movies are, and let me know what you might like to see on the next Fourth and Long. We're going to talk about, the underdogs that aren't going to win anything, and if they have a chance later on in the season. We're going to talk about spicy chicken sandwiches. Wendy's has got a great one, but Chick-fil-A's is even better. So things like that. So I thank you for listening. Leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, that was great, Bernie. Thank you very much. I was actually I was thinking along with the whole time, like, is he going to say this one? And you said all of them. You said all my favorite ones.
Were those all your favorite ones?
Those are all right there. I think you pretty much got them in order, except I've never really seen Little Giants.
Oh, Mikey!
So I've seen it on TV walking by, but I've never sat and watched it. So I can't say that's wrong or right. But you pretty much went pretty much in order as far as I could tell. That was a pretty good list.
So what you're saying is, when we go out and play football on the street, you're not going to know the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Not in terms of food. No, no. That's a play. I'm assuming that's a play call.
Oh yeah, that's a play call.
All right. Did it work?
Oh yeah, it's. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
No spoilers. I know it's my fault.
Yeah, it's been out since 1994, but we're not going to have any spoilers.
Very, very good. I like it. I was following along. I was sorry for interjecting there, and I just paused my mic.
No.
I muted my mic. I realized I shouldn't have done that.
Totally fine.
Okay.
So what is your favorite football movie, Michael?
They're kind of even. I think Necessary Roughness is. I think that's because I saw that in the theater.
Yeah,
and I was like, whatever age we kind of go with friends to a movie theater.
Yeah.
So I think that one's got a spot in my heart there, just because of the kind of going out on your own, like your parents drop you off or you borrow the car. I forget how that one went down, but going to the theater by yourself, or at least with kids only, or your people your own age.
Yeah, and Kathy Ireland doesn't hurt that fact either.
And Sinbad was in. He was in there, so that's good too.
Sinbad. Yes. Don't forget.
Very
about
good, man. I like it. Very good. Awesome. All right, so now hopefully we're gonna have a lot more of those, but that one is over for this time. Good job there, Bernie. I appreciate it.
Thank
Leave
you.
a comment. Definitely roast Bernie if you think he's wrong, or praise him if you think he's right. And I think he's right. All right, guys. Now it is time to get into the Wingman Jam.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Wingman Jam with Bernie the Bounty Hunter and Amazing Spidey. Boom shakalaka. All right, guys, it is time for the Wingman Jam, and this is where we take 4 prop bet pick'ems. We each pick one fantasy value pick'em and one NFL prop bet style pick'em. And last week in the Wingman Jam, these were our picks. Pardon me, I got a cough here. Excuse me, pardon me. Our first one was Caleb Williams. This was a fantasy one. His projected points was 18.61, and we went over or under that projection. Bernie's pick wasn't over, and I picked the under, and Caleb Williams scored 7.22 points, so he was way under. So right off the bat, Amazing Spidey, Mike here is 1-0 on the Wingman Fantasy Jam, or whatever it is. Wingman Jam. There it is. I'm sorry.
You got it. Yeah, you're good.
Our next one here, I didn't put these to Bernie, so I'm going to read them off. We had this one was a Bernie pick, and this was an NFL pick as the Arizona Cardinals traveled to Buffalo, and the Buffalo Bills were favored by 6.5 points. So on this one, we chose the spread. Do you remember what the picks were, Bernie?
Oh, I do. It was Arizona for both to get that, and we both won that bet.
Barely, as the final score was 34-28, a 6-point. Remember when I said
that hook helped us?
That half point they added right before we went on definitely helped us. So right now we both got that one right.
Yep.
Mike right now is 2-0, and Bernie is 1-1. Going on to our next one. This was a Bernie pick of the fantasy variety. Do you remember what your fantasy pick'em was?
Oh yeah. So we have one of our team managers had CJ Stroud and Jared Goff on his team. He had CJ starting with a projected 21.46 points and Goff on the bench with a 19.67. And I said, that's close enough to be even. Who's going to get the higher point total? And I picked Goff. Mike picked Goff, and Goff came in at a 13.38. but CJ Stroud came in at a 18.66. So both under their projection, but CJ did outpoint Goff.
All right, that is correct. Nice job there. You had everything I've written down here, not even tell you. Good job, my man. All right, this next one was a NFL pick that I proposed, and this was the Jacksonville versus Miami. The over-under was a whopping 48.5 points. I thought the rain was coming in, but it did not, and the total came in at 37 points as Miami hit a game-winning field goal at the buzzer to make it 20-17. Bernie picked the over in this one. I picked the under, and the under came in. So our first week of our Wingman Jam, we have the parlay results ended up with myself here at 3-1. Bernie finished at 1-3 for the week. It's all right. It's our first battle in the thing here. We're going to keep the scores going. Yeah. And like I said, I think I'm still playing with my head how often I'm going to do it. By either week 3 or week 4, we're going to do a straight up 2 versus 2. We're going to pick 2 players from the same round of our fantasy draft, so they have the same value. I want to kind of pick round 8 before Chubb comes back, because that's going to be a big time pick later. So I kind of, that was I kind of want to get that one out of the way. But anyway, by the week 3 or 4, we're going to pick a 2 versus 2 player team, and then we'll reset our standings, and maybe we'll have a little payment made, not money, but like maybe an embarrassing thing or a shot taken or something for the loser every 4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, we'll something like we'll make T-shirts that say Bernie is better than me or Michael is better than me.
Okay, all right,
something silly.
So now it is time for this week's Wingman Jam, and pick up. What's that?
I said, oh yeah,
here we go. All right, you want me to start this one off again?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
right,
winner has the floor.
Sure. I'm going to start us off with the fantasy matchup of this week. And this one is Crazy Fish versus Red Sox Nation. We're picking 2 teams that have no one on Thursday since there's no points in the books yet. And Red Sox Nation is favored by just over 7 points. So we're going to put the spread at negative 7.0 for Red Sox Nation. I'm really torn on this one. I've gone back and forth. I wanted to pick Crazy Fish. He's got a rebound, but I didn't like the projections that he actually had. Players that I thought were going to rebound, they already had high projections. So I'm going to go with Red Sox Nation covering the 7 points in this fantasy matchup.
Oh, wow. And you definitely should, because he's got Neighbors, and you've got Neighbors as a must start. So as of now, he's starting Neighbors. You know what? I think I might have to also, because Crazy Fish has. Oh, wait a minute.
That's close. No. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go against you. I'm going to go Crazy Fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mark that one down.
Yeah.
All right. You go ahead and pick one, either your fantasy or NFL pick 'em. What do we got?
All right. Let's do. We'll stick with the fantasy on this one. Let's do fantasy pick on this one. We have King George versus Mac Daddy 2. They are head to head this week. They both have the Monday night kickers. So King George has Elliott kicking, and Mac Daddy 2 has Koo kicking. So last game of the week, it might come down to the kickers. So I would say let's just do straight which kicker is going to outpoint. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lean towards Koo. He's my Atlanta guy, and I'm going to be rooting him on.
Can you tell me where that game is being played?
That is in Philadelphia. No dome.
Okay.
Even though the dome might be open if they were in Atlanta. So
I hear you.
You want the projections as well?
Sure. Just to stall, help me stall.
Yeah, I get you. So it was a pretty close projection, so it didn't sway one way or the other.
Probably both 8.5 points, give or take.
It was, yeah. Look at you, Mike. Koo was at 8.32, and Elliott was at 8.69.
Look at that. Just to be different here, I'm going to give you a chance to come back. I'm going going with Elliott.
There you go.
All right, we're going to mark that one down. Go ahead. Okay. You get your next one. Now we're going to go to the NFL for you, as you already did your fantasy one. What's your NFL pick'em for this week?
So the NFL pick'em, I'm going to do a prop bet.
Okay.
We're gonna do Chicago defense plus or minus 1 score. What do you got on that? They had a special defense special teams.
So you're including punts and kick returns, just to be fair here, or be clear.
Defense special teams.
Oh wow!
So plus or minus 1 touchdown.
Their kick return or punt return last week was up and down. He fumbled an easy fumbled one badly, but every other one he caught, he scored a touchdown. He ran back a couple 18-yard punt returns. Man, that's tough. it's
wait,
pretty
I'm
hard
picking first, right?
It's pretty hard to bank on a defensive touchdown, but I'm going to go no. I'm going to go
wait,
zero.
Wait. Am I picking first?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say one. I was going to say even.
Okay.
I guess I can't say even, can I?
Just put it at a half.
Okay, I'll put it at a half.
So
okay.
it's a binary, yes or no.
Yep. So I'll go one touchdown.
I'll go no. I'll go under the half 0.5 on the chance of the defense scoring touchdown. That's tough. They're awesome defense. Like I said, their punt returner was great.
Yep.
I'm gonna go that way just because I think the likelihood in general is low.
All right. Well, it looks like we went opposite so far. So you got one more?
Yeah, this one I wrote down and then I was changing my mind. I'm pretty sure the exact same type of play. All right. Do I want to put all my eggs in the Tennessee Titan basket? That's a tough basket, man.
You might as well. That's,
you know what?
It's the way it goes.
Listen, we're not hedging here. We're going to be right. We're going to be wrong, but we're not going to do I'm going to pick this one on this side and that one on the other side. So no matter what, I'm 1-1 and you guys can say I was right half the time. No. We're going to be all wrong. We're going to do
Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right. So I'm going to do, don't have it written down here. So I'm going to go by memory a little bit. We have the Jets traveling over to Tennessee. I already said the Tennessee defense is my start of the week. Right. And the, Jets are favored on the road by 3 points, if I'm not mistaken. If you could look that up, just double check me. If not, that's okay. I have it at 3 points from my memory.
The Jets are 3.5.
3.5. All right, we'll put it at 3.5 then, if that's okay.
Yep.
That helps me even more because I'm taking the Titans to cover this. I think they're going to win it outright, but I don't have to go that far. I'm taking Tennessee to cover the 3.5 points.
Oh, I will definitely go against that. I think Aaron gets right this game, so I think the Jets are going to win by, I won't say the number, but definitely more than 3.5.
All right. Wow. We have 4. Oh, am I not mistaken here? We have 4 different picks.
We do have 4 different picks.
All right. You're going to either come back or the lead's going to say the same. Or I'm going to take a huge lead.
Is Hopkins playing?
He's going to play.
Like legit play or just like I'm going to get 4 snaps, 5
He's
snaps?
ramping up. So it's going to be between the 20% that he played and the 100%. I'm going to say he's going to play 60% of the snaps.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not gonna go against my first my gut.
All right, very exciting. We're gonna have to double check on this one. We're gonna have a big swing potentially. That's more exciting when we pick different ones anyway. So that's good. Yeah. All right, guys. Now it is time to get into the mailbag.
You've got mail.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Mailbag! All right, in this week's mailbag, we have one coming from Anonymous. This guy wants to keep his identity private here. This one comes in stating that these shows are not too long, but they're long enough that there's certain segments that we find more important than others, men at the Wingman Fantasy Football, the League podcast. So I want to say thank you that Bernie has been commenting with the timestamps of what segments are where in the show. So if you want to skip around, like I use it this morning, to tell you the truth, Bernie, I wanted to show my family the mic rant, and then I didn't want to show them anything else. I knew exactly where it was because you put that timestamp in there, and I appreciate it. Our viewers definitely appreciate it, so I want to thank you for putting those in there.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I wanted to reach out to you, but I figured I'd wait for the show. I just need you to pin the timestamps to the top, so when we get the hundreds and thousands of comments from the favorite movies, that timestamp will be at the top and it'll stay at the top. So I haven't
done that yet, so I'm learning. So I'll try. That'll be the next thing I try and learn how to do. It shouldn't be that hard, but I'll do that for you. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think I have the capability of pinning my own comment. You have to do it from the site administrator.
Okay. I'm going to try and get
channel.
I'm going to try and get you access to that at some point, so we can figure out how you can make some changes if you need to.
Yeah, but I will continue to do that because I do watch it fairly early. In the morning, so I have no problem timestamping.
Eventually, I'll learn how to put the timestamps in the time bar, but for now, that is very helpful.
The chapters.
I got a lot. What's that?
The chapters.
Yeah, I got a lot going on here, so some things get pushed back. So until I get that lined up, like I said, I'm learning how to do this on the fly. Yeah. So I appreciate that. We have one more entry into the mailbag. This one comes in from Ken, and he phrased it in a way that I couldn't tell exactly how to read it. He said in my last rant that I brought up the fact that I felt bad for Katie's King George. And he's saying he doesn't what's the word I want? Disagree is not right, but I'm going to use it here. Doesn't disagree that I do care about the injuries for Katie King George, but he think I use that as an excuse just to weasel my way in to say that I didn't get a chance to play Jordan Mason that week and get the victory as he had enough points to take up the differential. He said I used Katie and the crocodile tears just to slip in the fact that I lost the game to Fantastics when I had a chance to play a strong running back. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just going to say I'm not going to say anything. I do feel bad for Katie. I definitely feel bad for me. But
yeah.
Anyway, what do you think about that claim, that charge against me there?
I think he was maybe projecting a little bit because I'm playing him this week. So he just had to get something out there. Ken, we appreciate the comment. Honestly.
That's what I was going to say next.
We absolutely appreciate the comment. And he might be getting back to you for just having so many delicious margaritas at the draft day party. I don't know. Ken, leave us a comment and let us know what you really meant.
I think after the third one, they stopped tasting like anything.
Salt? They still taste like salt? The
All
salt
right.
just made him feel more thirsty, so he kept drinking.
There you go. All right, guys, I want to thank you so very much for watching this episode. This was one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie. I appreciate all of it here. So don't forget, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube Music. You can find our video feeds. I'm going to try and push the button here.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
I'm going to figure
That's
this
still
out.
a good one. Oh, play them all, Mike. Play them all.
Oh, my gosh. All right, I'm messing up your bad. All right, you can find our video feeds on wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube. I'm just going to close this. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, my gosh, I'm a mess. Let's get rid of that. All right, we'll just leave the black bar on the bottom. I'm freaking out here. So anyway, you can find our video feeds on wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube. Also, you can find all of our content on wingmanentertainment.net/podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, notification bell, leave a comment, and you will get your comments read into our next mailbag. So with that being said, guys, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty.
Stay tuned, stay tipsy, and stay on top of your teams.
All right, guys, we will see you next time.